what is going on here? Wasn't responsible for any of you, but one of my top of 2023. I hate this lighting. I'm like, first off, gonna apologize for the lighting because I hate British weather because there is no sun. There hasn't been any sun today, and anyway. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Eilidh, and if you're not, hello, welcome. It is good to see you again. I'm like nervous to do this video. So nervous because one, I don't want it to be ridiculously long, and two, I think I'm going to be bombarded by books at the end of this. I've already created such a mess that it's ridiculous. But anyway, welcome to today's video. We are going to go through every single book that I have read in 2023. I think this has been the year that I've read the most books I have ever read in my entire life. If you didn't know this, I was not a big reader 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I hated anything to do with reading. I never wanted to read a book. And here we are today in 2023, and I have read 68 books this year, which is a lot for me. Like a lot. That is crazy to me. So we're gonna go through every single book that I have read this year, even though it's not actually at the end of the year just yet. We're like 4 days away from it. It's currently the 27th of December, but I'm like, I want to get this video out. I want to get this video done. So we're gonna run through all the books that I have completed. That is on my Kindle, library books, and also physical books as well. But let's just go straight into this video. So first off, let's start with all of the Kindle Unlimited books that I have read this year. And FYI, I am not going in chronological order. I cannot be asked for that. I haven't noted down what the dates for books. I haven't done that. I've done the date I finished them on some of them and not all of them, so I can't do it in chronological order. Maybe that is a goal for next year, but it is not a thing for today. And also, this might not necessarily be every book I've read in 2023 because I wasn't very good at logging every single book that I've read. But we're going off my Goodreads account of my reading challenge, so whatever book's on here is gonna be a book I'm gonna show you. But anyway, let's stop talking and let's go through all of my Kindle Unlimited books. Starting off with a 5-star read, which was God of Malice from the Legacy of Gods series. This is by Rena Kent, and I obviously gave this book a 5 stars. I loved it so much. It is a dark romance book, and it is one that, please guys, definitely read the trigger warnings for. I would say any dark romance that I'm going to mention, read the trigger warnings for, because stuff happens in these books, and I'm not responsible for any of you if you decide to read what I have read. Just read the trigger warnings, please. Yeah, 5 stars. Love this book. Was obsessed with it. I devoured it so quickly. It was ridiculous. Any Kindle Unlimited book I have devoured. So that says something about Kindle Unlimited. Next, moving on, Hidden Truths, which is the 3rd book in the Imperfectly Imperfect series. I gave this book a 4 stars. I preferred the other 2, which is also what I read this year, which was, the first one is Painted Scars and the second one is Broken Whispers. Painted Scars I gave a 4 stars, but Broken Whispers I gave a 5 stars. I love this series so far. It is a mafia romance book. Each book is about a different couple, but they are all connected together in the same world. I do believe it is a 9-book series though, so it's not something that I'm going to binge through and do, but the books are only just over 200 pages, so they're still books, but they're kind of like a novella because they're really short, but they're bingeable books in itself. I just won't be reading them back to back because there are so many of them, and I think they're definitely like a series I'm going to go to when I'm in a bit of a slump and I need something to like pick me up. So yeah, we read Painted Scars, Broken Whispers and Hidden Truths this year. Loved it. Dark romance, trigger warnings, please read. It's so good. Next one, the Mindfuck series. I love this series. 5 stars. great. I generally don't know how many books I've been given 5 stars. We will find out at the end of this video. But Mindfuck series, another dark romance, absolutely loved it. It was a serial killer and an FBI agent romance, but the female was a serial killer and the FBI agent is the male. And it's so book. It is a 5-book series, but each of the books are only 100 pages long, so in total it's like about 500, 600 pages. And I loved it. I was obsessed. I still am thinking about it. Anyway, next, moving on, Mile High. This is in the Windy City series. I only read this one. I do believe at the moment it has 3 books out, but I only read this one. But Mile High I gave a 4 stars. When I was reading this book, I was really enjoying it. It was taking me a bit to get through, but eventually when I was into it, I then really enjoyed it and I liked it. There were still points of it, and I think it was when I was actually talking to you guys about it that you mentioned to me, and that I realised after I had read it that things were definitely missing from the book, and I completely like get it and understand it now, and I can see it from talking to you guys. So yeah, I still give it 4 stars though, but yeah, I think it could have been better. However, I think the series is definitely something I want to get into and read because I want to see the other books. I think they're about different people, different couples, but yeah, this one's just a romance. So cute. It's a sports romance. It's a flight attendant and a hockey player. You know, we like those. Moving on, Out on a Limb. Hannah Broham Young. 5 stars. I love Bo. I love him. This was such a cute little romance read. Read it. Just read it. It was mwah. Anyway, moving on. We now have a fantasy, The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Is this a 2-book series? I think it is. Haven't read the second one, did read the first one. Again, it's on Kindle Unlimited. I gave this a 4 stars. I'm going to be perfectly honest with this book. I think when I was reading it, I wasn't really in the mood for it, but still really good. The ending, plot twist, what the actual hell? I'm still like baffled by it. Definitely want to read the second one, but I did give it only a 4 stars just because it took me a while to get into it. But I think that's because I was slightly in a bit of a slump and I wasn't really like looking for a romantasy book. Next one, Butcher and Blackbird. I think this might have been in my top 3 dark romances of the year. I gave this book 5 stars. I loved everything to do with it. Both serial killers, competition, love, everything. It's what I needed. I read this so quickly and loved it. It was so funny as well. Like, it was funny, gory, sexy, badass, gruesome, like just so good. It was a 5 stars. Next, The Predator. I can't remember what I gave this book. I think I gave it 4 stars. Yes, I did. 4 stars. This is again a part of another series, but I've only read the first one, which is The Predator. I would say this is a slow burn book because it took... Did they even end up getting together at the end? I don't think so. Honestly, I can't remember, but I know that I was desperate to read the second one and I still haven't yet, so definitely need to sit down and read the next one. Anyway, moving on. I think that was all of the Kindle books I read, actually. Let me check. Yeah, pretty sure. Right, let's move on to the 2 library books I read, which was A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I didn't like this book. I wasn't a fan of it. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling sort of thing, kind of. I gave it 3 stars. Like, the plot was alright. I just don't think I liked the ending. The romance, it altogether was like, it was like meh. It was fine. It was enjoyable at parts and it was funny at parts, but I didn't really connect with it. It is part of the series, but I don't think I'm going to continue the series. Yeah, that's kind of it. Anyway, next one, which was To Kill a Kingdom, which is kind of a Little Mermaid retelling. I gave this a 5 stars because I remember I devoured this book. I loved it so much. Definitely this one, it was more of the feeling that I gave 5 stars than the actual writing, because I think looking back on it now, if I read it now, I don't think I would have given it a 5 stars. but I remembered I really enjoyed it and it was definitely a book I wanted to read. See, that's the thing, if it's a book that I really want to read and I'm like in the mood for, then it's most likely going to be a 5-star book, where if I'm not and it's still a really good book, then it's unlikely going to be a 5 stars. I don't know, it kind of depends. But anyway, I think those are all the books that I don't visibly have with me, my Kindle and library books. But anyway, let's move on to all of the physical books I have got. Again, they're not in order. I kind of did the Kindle ones in order because that was in my Goodreads stuff, but also not. Anyway, we're going to start off with this pile that you can already see because I have way too many books, and yeah, I'm going to try and remember all the ratings that I gave them. Starting off, The Silent Patient. I didn't really enjoy this book. I gave it a 3 stars in the end. It was definitely a book that I'm like trying to get into thriller for. Like ever since I've read Verity, I've been wanting to find a book that gives me the same feeling, and I really thought this was. Like, I had such high hopes for it, and I think because I came into this book with those high hopes, that's why it didn't like hit the same. So I did only give it a 3 stars. I just wasn't rooting for anything. The plot twist at the end though did get me by surprise. I was a bit like, oh, what is going on here? But yeah, it wasn't really for me. I generally don't know if thriller is for me, but definitely in 2024 I want to try and get into some thriller books, different genres. I want to go out a bit of my comfort zone, and I tried with this one, but yeah, wasn't quite right. I'm gonna put them there. I think that's cute. Next, Necrotown. This is another book that I was gifted and I read. It is by a self-published author, and actually this was a pretty good book. I think I gave it 4 stars in the end. It took me a bit to get into and kind of understand the world because it is a thriller slash horror book with like monsters and things. So it was just, whenever reading like some sort of fantasy or something, you've always got to wrap your head around the world. So it did take me a bit to get through it, but once I was in the world and I was reading it, I really did enjoy it. It is only a short book, it is not that long. But yeah, another book trying to get into thriller. I don't think it was that thrilling though. I think it was more like it had more of like a gory, darker fantasy-esque to it than anything else, but still gave it a go. The Housemaid, another thriller book that I'm trying to get into. I read this one really slowly. I have done it for a video, and the video will come out at some point where I'll explain more to it. But yeah, again, I just didn't, it wasn't there for me again. I only gave this book a 3 stars. I just, sometimes I'm like, is it the thriller point to it or is it something else? I think because I've read so many other books that have been so messed up, when I come into a thriller that's supposed to be messed up, I'm like, this is like nothing. So I think again, it was a little bit underwhelming for me, and I was a little bit disappointed, and I was thinking about more as I was reading it. So it was just one of those things where I was just like, I got my hopes up and it didn't compete with it, so I gave it 3 stars in the end. I would still recommend it to a lot of people though if you are like into thriller, but I think because I am a dark romance reader, guys, we know the stuff that happens in a dark romance book and it's completely different to what happens in a thriller book. But yeah, if you're like a thriller reader, then I think like all of these 3 books you would enjoy it so much. But I think because I'm still like new to the genre, I'm still getting my head around it, it's still like not that for me, but I'd still recommend it. That's the thing, that's why I give things 3 stars. If it's like a 3 stars and above, I'd recommend it to anybody. So that's why it's 3 stars and not a 2. But yup. Anyway, moving on. Wildfire. This is the second one to Icebreaker. This came out this year, and what did I give it? I gave it 4 stars. Okay, so it was still really good. I read this in like a 24-hour video though, so I had to read it pretty fast and quickly, and I think I preferred this one plot-wise to Icebreaker, which is the first one in the series, and in 2024 the third one's gonna come out, which I'm very excited to read. It's still really cute. Romance. I think it is a one-night stand trope in it. Golden retriever boy. It's set in like a summer camp, and yeah, still really good though. Anyway, moving on. My Roommate is a Vampire. I remember this book. It's not what you think. I gave this book a 4 stars. It was really cute. It was like the silly, cute romance, easy read. The plot was basic. I think more like dramatic stuff could have happened within the book. Like I was definitely thinking of things that could have happened and I had my theories, and then they didn't happen within the book, and I felt like a lot of the ending was rushed, but still so cute, so simple, little vampire, goofy romance. Anyway, moving on. Beach read. I read this when I went to Valencia in September, and this is such a cute book. I did only give it a 4 stars though, but I did devour it. About authors, Emily Henry is the first book I've ever read by her. Definitely want to get into more books by her. I know a lot of people really enjoyed this book, especially the character Gus, and I can understand why. There was just some moments where I don't think I was like really in the mood for this type of romance, and I think it's because I generally have been coming out of my like summer romance sort of vibe, and I've gone more into my darker romance because that's, but also it was so cute about 2 writers swapping genre of writing to see who could write the better book, basically, and so cute. If I was to come back and read it, then I would, and I think I would definitely annotate it more. But there was some really cute lines in here, and just, it was cute. It was good. Moving on. Flawless. Again, another book I read in Valencia. This was the main book I read when I went on holiday, and I loved it. I think I gave it 4 stars though. I think there was a moment in this book I didn't like, and that's why I didn't rate it a 5 stars. Like again, for me to rate something 5 stars, I have to get like 5-star feeling. Like I have to be excited and like I can't put the book down and I have to do it. Somebody tried to take this book off me when I was there, which I didn't like. He was like, "Can I learn English?" I was like, "No, don't you dare take my book." I was like, "No." But anyway, it was still so cute. I love the cowboy bit. Definitely want to carry on with the series. I don't know how many books there are in the series. Generally it's like gone out of my head, but I know each of the books in the series is about a different couple within the same world, and definitely a summer read that I'm gonna do. Definitely want to get into it. Definitely want to carry on. Loved it. So cute. But good book. Next, Once Upon a Broken Heart. I still haven't read the 3rd one in this book, and I really need to read it. I really need to read it. But this one, so good. I did give it 4 stars though. It was one of the times again where I got my hopes up and I was really hyping it up, and I think I just like let myself get disappointed a little bit, but still such a good read. Romantasy, Jack's in this, even Evangeline, so good, so good. But I still gave it 4 stars. I really want to reread this book. There are a lot of books that I do want to reread, so maybe I should do a video where I reread books. How have I got paint on my book already? I didn't even notice that. That's disappointing. But if you haven't read Once Upon a Broken Heart, what are you doing? Go read it. If you're going to take anything from here, read this. Please. But yeah, I gave it 4 stars. It's honestly like a 4.5 because I'm still obsessed with it and I love everything about it. Slow burn as well, no spice. So cute, so good. I think it would be one of the books like if you're wanting to get into romantasy, this is where you should go. And now we have my latest book. This is probably going to be the last book I'm going to read in 2023. Well, it's going to be in this video anyway, which is The Throne of Glass. I do have a reading vlog coming out with the whole of this series, so I'm not going to talk about too much about this book, but let me just tell you, I really enjoyed this book. Really good, and I'm so excited to get into the rest of the series and get to reading that. I definitely have a deadline for myself for Sarah J Maas. I mean, she's got a book coming out at the end of January, and I want to have read all of her books before that book comes out. We'll see if that happens because this is a long series, but I will tell you, I gave this book a 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Not what I thought. I don't know what I was thinking about Throne of Glass, but I haven't had any spoilers for it, so I went in completely blind, and let me just say I was not disappointed. I was not disappointed. Really good. And reading vlog to come at some point when I finish it. Dance of Thieves series. This is another romancy book. Book series. Slow burn. Slow burn. I think that's the only thing that when I first read these 2 books that I didn't like reading was a slow burn. Again, if I read it now, then I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more than I did, but I only did give them a 4 stars. I think both of them. I think I preferred this one more then I preferred the first one, just because this one's where the romance really came into it and the plot came into it and everything. And honestly, again, if you're starting to get into romantasy, fantasy, you wanna no spice book, slow burn, then again, this is a series. I really did enjoy it, and again, it's one of those things that I'm thinking back on it now, and I wish I could read it for the first time again, because I would have definitely enjoyed it more. But you never really know if you're going to enjoy a book, if you're not going to enjoy a book, or when you're going to enjoy a book when you start a book. But still really good. Clockwork Angel, the Shadowhunter series. This book took me a while to read. I don't know what it was about this book. Alright, I gave it a 4 stars. Okay, not bad. I don't know what it was. It took me forever to read this book, like really long time, and I got in a really big slump as well trying to read this. I'm not quite sure what was happening. I really can't remember the book. I really do want to continue the series though, because apparently she's a really good author and a lot of people really enjoy her stuff. But there was just something about it when I was reading this just wasn't for me, and it just wasn't hitting the way that a usual book like this would. It does have a love triangle kind of in it. I don't know, I really can't remember, so I'm not going to say much about this. I filmed it for a video, and I think in that video I was like just trying to get through it. Anyway, but I did give it 4 stars, so there must have been something that went well in this book. I started reading the second one but haven't finished the second one. I've kind of like put it on hold. Like a lot of books that aren't in this video I've put on hold because I haven't DNF'd them, but I just haven't finished them. And that's the second one to this book, is one of those books. But I want to carry on. I might reread it and see how I feel now, but it's going to be one of those like penciled in books that maybe if I have time that I will read. But yeah. Scarred. This is another dark romance book. It's a part of the Never After series by Emily McIntyre, and I love this book. But I think I like the first one more. This is the second one, which is the Lion King retelling, I'm pretty sure. Because originally I was saying like it was Beauty and the Beast, but I don't think it's actually Beauty and the Beast. And it makes more sense if it was the Lion King as well. Again, one of you guys said that, and yeah, sometimes I get my facts wrong. That's just what happened. But it is a dark romance. I did get it 4 stars. The only thing that I do find with especially this author and her type of writing is it's very jumpy. Like we go from one place to the next to the next. It doesn't kind of like flow, and we don't really see the in-between of things. We just see the event, like the action, and then obviously like bits and cute moments in between. But yeah, this is a dark romance series. Definitely want to finish the rest of the Never After series. Each one of the books is a different retelling of the fairy tale, but it's not like the fairy tale, it's just like ideas from it. And you can kind of like see the connections, but the story is pretty much different. But gave it 4 stars, loved it, want to carry on the rest of them. This is book 2 though, and I think the next one's supposed to be really good as well. I love this series. We've got the Dreamland Billionaire series. I did annotate these books. I don't know if you can like see. Well, I annotated the first like 2, like these 2. I don't think you can really see it. You can kind of see it because I've used the clear ones. But the first one I didn't annotate, and part of me really wants to reread this series just so that I can annotate the first one again. But this series is about 3 brothers who own a theme park. Kind of. Well, in their world, it's the best theme park there. I guess it's kind of like Disneyland, sort of. And yeah, each book is about one of the brothers, and each book has different tropes. Like the first one is Grumpy X Sunshine. Then we've got Marriage of Convenience, and then we've got Second Chance. Each of the books I absolutely loved. I think each of them I gave a 4, but I definitely enjoyed Terms and Conditions, which is the second one, more than the other 2, which are The Fine Print and The Final Offer. The only thing I don't like about the books is that the spines don't match. Like, that's so annoying. But again, this is like the best romance series. Like, it's one of the best romance series, and I really want to read Lauren Asher more in the new year. I've got some of her next books. I've got some of them on my wish list. But yeah, this was a great series and I loved it. I loved it. Definitely books I'm gonna reread, especially this one right here. I really enjoyed this one. Sarah J Maas, House of Earth and Blood. I gave this book a 5 stars. 5 stars. This is another reading vlog that is waiting to come. I'm in the middle of reading the second one for this. Again, it's just, this book was so intimidating to start reading, and part of me just didn't want to read it. And then because the second one is even longer than this, I've been like putting it off. But that's not because the book isn't bad. That is because like this scares me. But I did read this one. I absolutely loved it, and I really want to see what the second one is about because everyone is saying get ready for the second one, and I have dodged so many spoilers that is actually ridiculous. But I gave this a 5 stars. I loved it. The third one of this comes out at the end of January, and I'm really excited to get back into the world. Again, I just need to like get my calendar sorted so I can continue this series. But so good. If you haven't read, definitely 100%. 5 stars. Hooked. This is the first one in the Never After series, which is Scarred, which was the other one. This one is the Peter Pan retelling, and oh my god. I definitely like this one more than I like the second one. I think I gave this one a 4 stars. Yes, I did give it 4 stars. Again, the only thing with it is just this author's writing style. Again, it was very jumpy, and that's like one of the things that I didn't like about it, because I like seeing like the in-betweens of things. I like when things flow and we kind of like see everything, where you don't really get to see everything in here. But it was still such a good book. A nice little ease in to dark romance if you wanted to get into the dark romance genre. The Never After series is a good starting ground to see if you like it, because it's not really dark, but it still has like those sort of themes in it. But yeah, gave it 4 stars. Loved it. Definitely want to carry on with this rest of the series. Anyways, the cheat sheet. This book was so cute. So cute. I think I gave this one a 4 as well. I'm not gonna remember if I like say the points, because majority of these books are point something, but I can't remember what I've given them. But yeah, this is a 4 stars. It is a friends to lovers book, and I think this is one of the first friends to lovers book that I have read. I don't know if I'm a friends to lovers type of girl. I'm definitely an enemies to lovers type of girl, but this does have fake dating in it as well, and I just love that aspect. It was so cute. There was no big cock up at the end, which I really liked, but it was like that miscommunication of them not telling each other that they liked each other, which was the only thing that annoyed me. The only thing. But it is a sports romance as well. He is a American football player. She is a ballerina, and it was just so cute. Nice, easy romance read. Definitely one for the summer. If I could reread it again, I would. Again, Sarah Adams is somebody who I want to read more of. The Love Hypothesis. Ali Hazelwood. Oh, I love you. I love her. She is one of my favourite authors. Whatever Ali Hazelwood publishes, I will read eventually, come into it. This, 5 stars, loved it. Fake dating, professor, ex-student, even though she's not his student. It works out, it was fine, but yeah. Fake dating, loved it. Definitely got me into reading. This is one of the books that like got me there. And yeah, I gave it 5 stars. This is one of the first ones I read of the year, and I'm still obsessed with it. I still think about it. Definitely want to reread it if I can. I love the writing. It's so easy, so good. If you want to get into reading, this is definitely one of the ones that I would say start off with. See if you like it. Definitely. Anyway, moving on to one of my favourite dark romance series. It's not for everyone, but it was for me. The Cat and Mouse series. Hunting and Haunting Adeline. Both of these books were 5 stars. I read both of these books within 24 hours, and I annotated the crap out of them. I generally don't know if you can see. Again, this is what happens when I use like clear stuff. You can like kind of see where you can't see. I annotated them so much. Like all of these, like so good. So good. 5 stars. I loved it. 100% worth the hype, in my opinion. Again, if you are going to read these, please go into trigger warnings, because they do have some scenes in here that aren't for everybody, but they were for me, and I loved them. I have no idea what that voice is, but so good. So good. Definitely want to read more H.D. Carlton books. 2024, my list is getting long already, but Cat and Mouse series. If you love dark romance and you haven't read this, what are you doing? Go read it right now. Don't get scared of the hype. Just do it. Just read it. Next, Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. This is the first book that I have read for Lynn Painter. I started reading another one by her, but it didn't get to finish it just because of scheduling stuff. Again, that's another book that I've put on pause, which was one of the ones that she released this year. I can't remember. I think it was Love Wager or something like that. But I did read this one, and I kind of remember it kind of don't. I remember it being like a cute little romance sort of thing. I think it was generally like the two main characters were texting each other. She didn't know who he was, but he knew it was her, and something along those lines of that sort of thing. I think I gave it a 4 stars in the end. Again, it was such like a simple read, just cute, and I guess it's like another summer easy read type of book. But yeah, cute. Very cute. Punk 57. Some people class this as a dark romance, and I don't think I would class it as a dark romance. I would class it as like a darker romance, but not a dark romance, just because like there's some things. But again, I would say I think I gave this a 4 stars in the end. I still really did enjoy it. The spice was definitely spicing. And again, if you want to get into dark romance, then I would say like read this book, see it, try it. What do you think about it? But yeah, it was still good. I think it was about like high school students, something about that, but I read this so long ago that I generally can't remember. But yeah, I think I gave it 4 stars. Most of these books I gave it 4 stars. I definitely need to be harsh with my ratings because I can't give everything 4 stars, but still, Punk 57. Then we have A Not So Meet Cute. I remember loving this book. I gave this book a 5 stars. Fake dating, the banter was there, it was spicy, it was fun, it was cute, it was just like, it just hit. It was just so good, like Billionaire as well, and I devoured this book. I read this book so quickly. So good. 5 stars. If you haven't read it, read it. I definitely want to read the other 2 as well, because like the Dreamland Billionaire series, this one is about 3 brothers as well, and I think each of the books are about the brother, like one of the brothers, and I love this one so much. I think it was Grumpy X Sunshine as well. I really can't remember. But I remember I loved the banter. I loved a lot of like what was said, and I wish I annotated it so I could go back to those funny moments. But I remembered I loved the female and the fake dating, but again, fake dating will always like be a win for me. I love that trope. But moving on to another vampire book, Crave. I again had high hopes for this book. I didn't really enjoy it. I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna read the rest of the series. It wasn't really there for me. I think I gave it like a 3.5, something like that. I don't know what was about it, but I wasn't really into it. Yeah, I only gave it 3 stars. Like, there was still the romance and the vampires and everything. I felt that it was too close to Twilight, and it was like trying to be that but wasn't that, but also trying to be different from that but still wasn't that. It was just weird. I mean, but if you want to read a vampire book, then this might be for you, but because I think I love Twilight. I haven't read the books though, but I like the films. Films are just a comfort. Like, even though they're not that good, they're still a comfort. So like, reading this was really weird, and also like it was thick as well. It's like thick. And yeah, it just, again, I think it was like I got my hopes up and I just still didn't really enjoy it. So yeah, 4 stars. No, 3 stars. The Ballad of Never After. Love this book. This one is one of my favourites so far. Hello, William.
Come back downstairs.
You want to go back downstairs? I gave this book a 5 stars. It is the second one to Once Upon a Broken Heart. And oh my god, I love this one. I loved it. I need to read the third one. I need to read it, but I have a thing. Like, I want the paperback. I don't want the hardback because I want it to match my 2 other books. But loved it so much. So good. Everything about it. I don't have anything bad to say about it. That's why it's a 5 stars. Obviously, that should be self-explanatory. But still so good. Definitely want to reread. I will probably end up rereading them before I go into the third one, just so that I can like stay in the world a little bit longer. Who knows? Anyway, moving on. King of Wrath. This is a arranged marriage, something like that. Again, I annotated this one as well, and I enjoyed this one. I didn't love it because I read this after I read the Twisted series, and I loved the Twisted series, and I wanted to like see what her other books were about. So I read this, And I remember I enjoyed it, but it still took me a while to like get into and get to read because I was still so hung up. You know when you get a book hangover? I was reading this with a book hangover basically, but I still underlined a lot. I still annotated it. Again, I don't think you can see it. Still so cute. Gave it a 4 stars. You get both POVs. Just, it was so good. It was still really good. And I want to read the other 2 that she's released. And next year as well, there's a 4th one coming out, which again I'm very excited for, but yeah, still good. The Kiss Thief. I went into this book not really knowing what it was about, and I thought it was something, but then it ended up not being something. But I still really enjoyed it. It took me by surprise, honestly. I've read one LJ Shen book before last year and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to read another one, and I picked up this one randomly, looked at the back, thought it was cute, then read it, and then was like, oh, actually this isn't too bad. I gave it 4 stars. Again, I think it is it's either Marriage of Convenience, no, it is Arranged Marriage. It's one of them. I think it's an arranged marriage, and I also think it's an Enemies to Lovers as well. And it was so good. It was so cute. It was just like, I completely forgot I read this. Anyway, moving on. Love Theoretically by Eilidh Hazelwood was one of the books that came out this year. Loved it. So good. Only gave it 4 stars though, just because there was just something about it that didn't hit like the Love Hypothesis hit, but still, I think it's like, was it Grumpy X Sunshine? Enemies to Lovers? It was like something like that. Again, I love Eilidh Hazelwood's books because you get like the science as well as the romance. And then there's one of the tropes that I absolutely love. And I read this book as soon as it came out. I bought this book. I was like, I need to have this. And it was so cute. It was so good. But yeah, I only gave this one a 4 stars. Just, I felt like something was missing from it. Don't ask me what, because I have no idea. I have no idea, but I just didn't get that 5-star feeling. That's why it's a 4, but still. From Lukov with Love. This is another slow burn book that I was like trying to get into. I think I'm definitely better with slow burn now than I was. Like, I definitely enjoy a slow burn more than I did. And I think this kind of has to do with this book. It's about 2 figure skaters and there's like competition, and it is an Enemies to Lovers, and it was still really, really, really good. Like, there's definitely moments within this book that was really cute. But again, I think I was in a bit of a book slump when I was reading this, so I wasn't like really invested into reading. But still, gave it 4 stars. Loved the ending. I love like the talk between the 2 of the characters and how he literally knew her like the back of his hand. And again, it was just a nice slow burn. I definitely want to read more of Mariana Saptas. Is that how you say her name? I don't know. But this author's, I want to read more of her books because apparently she's supposed to be a really good author. So maybe that's something that I dive into next year. Who knows? But yeah, I definitely want to give one of her books another go just because I feel like I would have really enjoyed this if I was already into the slow burn trope. But who knows? I should make another pile. I don't know if you're going to be seeing that if I might care, but we're going to do it anyway. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. Colleen Hoover was definitely one of the authors that I started reading at the beginning of my reading journey, and she definitely got me into it. I didn't love this book. I gave this book I think it was a 3 stars actually. And I was actually really disappointed by it because I really enjoyed It Ends With Us. This is like the second one to it. Yeah, I only gave it 3 stars. It's the second one to It Starts With Us is the second one to It Ends With Us. That's what I'm trying to say. I didn't think this book was needed. I generally read it just because of like all the talk about it, but this book felt more like a long epilogue than it did a book. I think if you've read It Ends With Us and you're cool with the ending, leave it. Just don't read this one. It's only if you want to like find out more about what happens, then go into reading this. But yeah, it was just weird and I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't for me. Icebreaker. I think I gave Icebreaker 5 stars actually. This book is generally just a Wattpad book. You wouldn't expect anything less from this. This is probably one of the spiciest books that I have read. Oh no, I gave it 4 stars. I think I gave it actually 4.75. It was almost a 5 stars. I think there was just one thing about it that I didn't quite like, and again, if there's something that I pick out and I didn't like, then it's not 5 stars. So it was definitely close to 5 stars because I did really enjoy this book, and there were also moments that I did find really funny, but again, I think there was just something missing from it. But yeah, this book is very spicy. It's a hockey romance. She's a figure skater. It's, I think, an enemies to lovers and a grumpy ex-sunshine as well. Maybe not like they're enemies, but like a dislike to lovers book. And he's actually the sunshine and she's the grumpy. He's such a golden retriever, and I think I absolutely loved it. And I'm so excited to carry on in this world because the second one is about 2 other characters that are in this book. And well, I don't think the girl was, but the guy in the second one is, and the same in the third one. I think it's the guys from the hockey team. Each one of the books are going to be about, but yeah, 4.75, so cute, so good. I can't wait to carry on with the series. The Kingdom of the Wicked series. Altogether, I think I'm going to give this like a 4-star series. I think pretty much all of the books I gave 4 stars. Anyway, and this, I don't know how to describe this book, but we follow like this girl who signs up with a like deal with this demon prince person guy thing, and it is again an enemies to lovers romance. And I remember I really enjoyed this book until I came to this one, which then I felt like it finished, but it had so many loose ends. And I think I did this for a reading vlog actually, and I remember saying in the reading vlog, I was like, there's so many questions now. Like, you can't just leave a book like that and not answer all of the questions. But yeah, I don't think there's another book gonna come out. I think there are gonna be other books with these people's, we basically meet other characters in these books, and I think there's gonna be other separate series with those characters in it, so hopefully those answers are gonna be like solved. But I do remember reading these books and absolutely devouring it. I think the second one was probably my favorite, and then Close first, and then this one. But yeah, I'm gonna give it 4 stars altogether. I think that's what I gave it anyway. Still a really good series. Again, it was like not dark romance, but it was like darker romance. Obviously, you know, when you're dealing with like the devil and demons and all of that sort of stuff and witches and all of that, you kind of get that. But still so good. I would still recommend it to anybody. Like Wrath, I love him. I'm gonna put you there. Moving on. Things We Hide from the Light and Things We Never Got Over. There is a third book to this which I'm still waiting to read, which also came out this year. So good. I think I gave them both 4 stars. They follow 2 brothers, and I think the whole series is actually about a friendship group. And yeah, this one's Grumpy X Sunshine. Again, this one I think is a kind of Grumpy X Sunshine, kind of not. Enemy, I would say maybe friends to enemies to lovers, something like that, or like enemies to lovers, this one. But again, really enjoyed both of these quite equally as well, just in their own separate ways. And I like how this is the first one, but we still see like the relationship of the guys in this one and kind of their development epilogue thing. So cute, so good. I would definitely recommend this. I want to read Lucy Score more as well and definitely finish off the series. But yeah, I think I'll give this one a 4 stars. Another Ali Hazelwood book, Love on a Brain. This was another 5 stars. Absolutely adored. I think this was an enemies to lovers one. I don't think this was a fake dating one, but yeah. Yes, enemies to lovers, again with the signs, everything, their work colleagues, just Grumpy X Sunshine as well. Ali Hazelwood, you can't go wrong with her. Loved it, 5 stars. Next book is The Roommate. I really enjoyed this book. The banter in this book was actually so good, and I was a bit skeptical going into this because I never really heard of Rosie Dannon before. I did get this book at the 66 Book Warehouse sale shop thing place, and it was just one of those, like, I read the back of it and I was like, that's interesting. And I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Really good, quite easy to read, but it was definitely the banter that did it for me, and I loved it. The King of Battle and Blood and the Queen of Myth and Monsters. I love Scarlett St. Clair. She is one of my favourite authors, and these 2 are a vampire romantasy. This is probably one of the spiciest books I have ever read, and I still loved it. King of Battle and Blood, I think I gave it 4 stars. I devoured this book. I loved it so much. It's definitely one of the ones that got me hooked straight away because it fell into the plot straight away. It didn't slack at all. The only thing is, this one felt like more of a filler book, like the in-between of like this book and the third one that's gonna come out. This one felt like it was just there, and also I read these two really far apart, so I didn't really remember a lot of the little details from this one that was in this one, so I didn't enjoy this one as much. I think I gave it like a 3.75 because this one was a 4 and it was still really good. But yeah, they're not as good as the Touch of Darkness series, which I read and absolutely adored, but still, I read these two, loved it. Scarlett St. Clair is still one of my favourite authors, and I'm so excited to carry on with this series. Anyway, yeah. We also have Born Darkly, which is a dark romance book. It is a 2-part series book. This was just one of the ones like I saw on Bookstagram and really wanted to read. It's about a psychiatrist and a serial killer that fall in love, and generally I thought this book was tricking me with how it's ending, because I was like, this is too easy, this can't be right, like what is going on? I didn't enjoy it as much. It was still really good, but it was like really weird. And me saying like a dark romance is weird is like probably not a good thing. I think I only gave it like a 3.75 something because I liked the idea of the book and there were some really good moments within it, but I think I was waiting for something really bad to happen, or like somebody to portray somebody, and it just never came along. I definitely do want to read the second one, which I think is on Kindle Unlimited, because I generally do want to see what happens. But yeah, I wasn't really as invested in this book as I generally would have been, but it's only a short book. I think it was only just over 200 pages long. Yeah, but yeah, it's just another dark romance one. Fourwing. 5 stars. I love this book so much. I annotated this one as well, and there were some really good quotes in it. It's probably one of the best enemies to lovers books that I have read. I actually reread this book as well, so I've read this twice this year. I'm currently reading Iron Flame. That video will come out at some point, but yeah, this book was so good. It's still a 5 stars. I still can't get over it. I absolutely love it. I'm loving Iron Flame at the moment as well. If you haven't read Fourwing, please read Fourwing. I don't want to say too much because I could ramble on about this book all day, every day, so long. 5 stars, just worth the hype so much. If you haven't read it, please read it. This is one of my top 3 books of 2023, 100%. We also have the Twisted series as well. This is a 5-star book series. I annotated every single one of them as well. I absolutely loved Twisted Games and Twisted Lies. These two were both a 5 stars for me. Twisted Love and Twisted Hate I gave a 4 stars. Each one of these books was about one of the girls in this college friendship group, so different couples. Loved every single one of them. Such a great series. I 100% want to read again. These are one of the books that I wish I could read for the first time again. I love it. These two were like mid, but I flew through these two. But yeah, if you haven't read the Twisted series, oh my god, read it. I did a whole reading vlog about them and I'm so glad I did, because I love it. I still love it. I still think about it. 5-star book series. 100% worth the read. Then we have the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Again, I think I just gave this book a 4 stars. I didn't love this book, and I think it is because when I read it, I was still like new to reading. I was testing out things, and the stuff that went on in this book I didn't quite understand. Now looking back on the book, I probably would have liked it a lot more than I did, but just because when I read it, it wasn't really like for me, was the only thing. But still such a good book. Still gave it 4 stars. It was totally worth the hype. I do want to read more of Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. Daisy Jones and the Six is definitely one of the ones that I do want to read. But yeah, gave it 4 stars. It was really big on TikTok. That's the only reason why I read it. But yeah. Part of Your World by Abby Jenkins. Oh, I love this book. Age gap, small town, romance, big city girl. I think I gave this a 4 stars. It's such a cozy read. though as well. It felt like a coming of age book, but it wasn't a coming of age book. It was definitely like this 30-year-old woman like still trying, not that she was trying to figure out her life, but she was going through some stuff, and I just remembered loving this book, and I loved him as well, and just everything about it. It was definitely a friends with benefits situation that then turned into like a love thing. But yeah, I think I gave this a 4 stars in the end. My Goodreads is not working now, so that's always fun. Yes, I did give it 4 stars. But yeah, so cute. Definitely want to read more Abby Jenkins books. 100% a goal of mine. Then we have We Were Liars. I actually didn't like this book. This was the first book that did actually make me bawl my eyes out, just because there was a certain scene, and whenever like that scene comes about in books or movies, I will always cry for, because it's always a thing that makes me cry. But I didn't like this book at all. It took me way too long to read, and it is like a tiny book. I didn't like the writing style. I didn't like the story. The plot twist at the end did get me, like the ending did get me, but I still was just like, no. The only reason why I read this book is because I wanted to read Family of Liars, which is the prequel to this, but I no longer want to read Family of Liars because I didn't enjoy this. So that was a shame. I did have high hopes for this because a lot of people say this is really good, and again, I think it is like, it was just the writing style that did it for me, that I didn't really enjoy. So yeah, it just took me so long to read. Too long to read. So yeah, I only gave it 2 stars. Another 2 stars books that probably should be a 1-star book, The Winter Children. I filmed a video on this book. I don't know if the video is going to come out or not, just because of how much I hated this book. I have never hated a book more than this. This book made me visibly sick and uncomfortable and straight up mad. Like, I was so angry reading this book, and the only reason why I didn't DNF it was because I was filming a video. And yeah, this book put me in a really big slump, and I didn't like it at all. Like, at all. I don't know if any of you have read this book before, but if you enjoyed it, how? And no, I don't even want to talk about this book anymore. It was like, I said it's a 2 stars, but it's probably like a 1. Moving on to a book I did really enjoy, which is The Dead Romantics. I actually really enjoy this book. I still listen to the soundtrack for this book that was created on Spotify. I gave this book a 4 stars, I believe. Yes, I did. It was such a cute small town romance, and just everything about it was cute. I did guess the ending because I was like, there is no way this book is gonna make me this upset. I was like scared for my life for a second. I was like, if this book doesn't like get any happier, I'm gonna start crying. But yeah, so good. Gave it a 4 stars. 100% worth giving a read, especially during spooky season. I didn't read it during spooky season. I did actually read it in the summer, which was totally fine. But this is definitely like a October read type of book, and it was really good. I do love it. And last but not least, These Hello Vows. I think I gave this book a 3 stars actually. And the only reason why I decided to read this book was because I was oh no, I gave it 4 stars. Interesting. Oh wait, I read These Hello Vows. Hollow. Why do I say hello? These Hollow Vows, and actually These Twisted Bonds. These Twisted Bonds I read as a library book. These Hollow Vows, I obviously have the book. Didn't love it. The only reason why I read These Twisted Bonds, which I gave 3 stars for, was because of how this book ended. I did semi-enjoy it. I was trying to find a book that was similar to ACOTAR, and that's how I came across this book. But then I found it too similar to ACOTAR that I didn't like it. And it was a little bit annoying. And I don't know, I didn't really connect with the characters as much. I still gave it 4 stars because like I still like enjoyed aspects within it. I think there was the banter and a lot of the dialogue I really enjoyed and I liked the idea of it. That's why I gave it 4 stars. But then actually when I read the second one, I didn't really like that book at all. So I don't know if there's any more in it, and generally if there is, then I don't think I'm gonna read it. But yeah, I read these 2 as well, and that pretty much wraps up this whole video. So altogether, I have read 68 books. That is my 2023 wrap up done. My god, hopefully this video wasn't that long. If it is, I'm so sorry. I tried to be as quick as possible, but we all know I am such a big talker. But I'm going to end this video here. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Let's hope in 2024 I can read, let's say, 100 books. If I can read 100 books in 2024, that would be absolutely amazing. But I will always try and aim to read more than I have read the year before, which I obviously have done this year. This has been the year that I've read the most. But I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Mwah, peace, goodbye.